Hello, my name is Urere Alova, and for my Principles of Marketing Assessment number 1, oral presentation, I have chosen to speak on the topic consumer behavior. Is what's cool determined by marketers or consumers? Before we move on any further, let us define consumer behavior. So what is consumer behavior? According to Philip Kotler, also known as the father of modern marketing, defines consumer behavior as the study of how individuals, groups and organizations select, buy and use, dispose of goods and services, ideas or experiences to satisfy their needs and wants. The study of consumer behavior allows marketers to understand the basis of the consumer's decision in purchasing a particular product or service. In doing so, marketers expect that they are able to establish which products are desirable, which products are obsolete, and how best they can portray or display their products to the consumers. This brings us to the question, is what's cool determined by marketers or consumers? Or in other words, do consumers create trends or do marketers? Marketers can influence consumer behavior while studying consumer preferences and attitudes. From the study, the information that they gather or the data that they gather, they use that information and put it out there to influence and persuade consumers into making the decision to purchase their products and services. So how do marketers influence consumer behavior? We will look at 4 marketing approaches that marketers use to influence consumer behavior. And they are: number 1, advertisement; number 2, emotional engagement; number 3, shaping context; and number 4, trend setting. Let us look at our first marketing approach that marketers use to influence consumer behavior. Advertisements. Marketers use marketing campaigns or advertisements that are never ending. They use advertisements on a regular basis. This substantially influences the behavior of the consumer when purchasing. For instance, they select one brand over the other just because they saw an advertisement of the first more often. Do you remember the last time you went to a shopping mall? You went to buy a particular product, but you ended up buying a totally different product. This is probably due to an advertisement that you saw on Facebook or television. The next marketing approach is emotional engagement. Marketers don't intend to inform, but they intend to persuade and establish emotional connections with products and brands. Consumers may not always remember a particular advertisement, but when looking at a product online or in a supermarket, they suddenly have that feeling or emotion like happiness, confidence, or adventure. For example, when it comes to state of origin, in Papua New Guinea, there is so much excitement, there is so much emotion that marketers use these emotions to their advantage, and they advertise to sell their products like televisions, t-shirts, rugby balls or sporting equipments, all because of the emotional build-up from this event that marketers used through advertisements and promotions. This brings us to the third marketing approach that marketers use to influence consumer behavior, and that is shaping of context. We live in a world where marketers have created this context of marketing where everything is sold and bought. It is this virtual world where marketing decides what shirt you will wear, what restaurant you will go to, and what kind of vehicle that you will drive. You will realize that a majority of this information you come across will try to sell you something one way or the other. They try to sell you a product, a service, an emotion, or a political view. This context is created by marketing tools, and they come in all forms and shapes. The final marketing approach that marketers use to influence consumer behavior is trend setting. Marketers use all sorts of media platforms to try and influence their consumers, from YouTube ads to Facebook pop ups and television advertisements. They create content, including viral ones, which set trends that define purchasing behavior. For instance, in a recent research that was conducted by SIS International Research, they found out that social media has become the largest trend in Papua New Guinea, and almost more than three-quarters of the population engages in communication via social media. Just recently, we have seen an increase of companies using social media to market and sell their products and services. As we come to a conclusion, we have established that marketers study consumer behavior to determine how best they can market their brands and products to the consumers. In order to do this, they use never-ending advertisements, emotional engagements, context shaping, and trend setting. By approaching their consumers in this way, they establish trends and what's cool so that consumers can react in a way they have already anticipated. Therefore, the study and research of consumer behavior is very important and crucial for companies to promote and sell their products more efficiently and effectively, especially in this era of COVID-19 where marketing approaches have evolved and changed. In a survey conducted by Christian Mormon and Brittany Scheel, sales through the internet in the United States have increased. From 2015 to 2019, it was at 12%, but in February 2020, it was at 13.5%, and then it jumped to 19.3% in June 2020, and by February 2021, it reached an increase of 19.4%. This only proves that consumer behavior is ever changing and ever evolving, and the challenges that marketers face are real and complex. But with continuous research and study of consumer behavior, a company can be innovative in their marketing strategies. This brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. For questions, queries, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you and see you.